True that. Okay. I'm just going to pretend y'all were very sad. Okay, we are talking about volume. So area is like, how much tile do I need to cover this floor? Volume is, how many gallons of water do I need to fill this entire classroom? You see the difference? Flat surface, filling something. Okay, that's what volume is. You're filling something. So there's a lot of different 3D shapes, which is interesting. And there's a lot of different formulas. I promise you, you would not think twice about memorizing all the area formulas if I told you I would give you the volume. Because volume is a little bit harder than area. Okay? So, of all of these different shapes, we need to talk about the differences in them. The first shape is the most basic shape. Okay? It's a cube, but technically it's called a prism. This is called a prism. Now, there's different types of prisms, and you have to recognize the difference. Okay? So there's 2 bases on prisms. That's it. There's only 2 bases. The amount of sides changes. So if you look at this picture right here, you see that this is a base, and then this up here is a base, because there's only 2 of them. But how many sides do you see? 4. Just sides, this way. 4. So how you determine which one is the base is by which shape do you only see twice. That's the base. Okay? So, and then a prism is anything that has, like, it's straight up and down. It's like a box, almost. So if you look at these up here, let's label them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One's a prism. Y'all agree? What else? 4. Any others? Okay, here's my next question. What's the base of number 1?
Pentagon.
Do you see the shapes? First of all, do you see these sides? Do you see how many sides are right here? 4. There's 4 sides. And then how many is right here? 4. And then how many is right here? 4. And then 4. And then 4. And then 4. There's a lot of 4s, right? But what shape is this right here? It's a pentagon. How many pentagons do you see? Those are the bases. So this is not just a prism. This is a pentagonal prism. Write that down. Pentagonal prism. The reason you have to know the difference is because the formula of a prism is volume equals big B times little h. That's a big B for a reason. In the area formula, what does small b stand for? Base. In volume, big B stands for the area of the base. So not only do you have to find the volume, but first you have to find the area of the base. Okay? Well, that's important to know because, look over here. For this base, how do I find the area of a pentagon? Apothem perimeter divided by 2. It ain't over. It did not end Friday. Okay? So in order to find the volume of this prism, you have to first find the area of that pentagon, and then you have to know the height, which is on the side, then that's the volume. How would you find the area of this bottom? Just the little b times h, right? Because it's just a rectangle. Okay, we can do that. Which one of these? This right here is the base, right? Because the other 4 that are wrapping around it are longer. The only 2 that look the same are these 2 right here. Now, if it has 4 sides as a base, I just call it a prism. The only time I change the name is if the base is more than 4. Okay? All right, got that one. Next shape is called a cylinder. Cylinder, write this down. Formula is pi r squared h. No big B's. Hallelujah. V equals, I would really make sure we're writing these down correctly, because this is what you get to use, right? I mean, it's also right here, so it's kind of important that you notice that. Which one of the ones at the top is a cylinder? 5. 5's a cylinder. Okay, that one's basic. Okay, this third one, these are called pyramids. Well, that makes sense because a pyramid always goes up to 1 point. So any shape that goes up to 1 point is called a pyramid. The formula is 1/3 big B times the height. It's important to know what big B is and what the base is because it changes. On this one, the base is a rectangle. So it'd just be base times height to find big B. Okay? Notice, I put 2 pictures here because if it's a slanted pyramid, you still have to find the straight up and down height. The height has to be straight up and down every time. It will never be the side of the pyramid. Okay, so what pyramids do you see at the top? 2 and 3. I call this a regular pyramid because the base is just 4 sides. But what kind of pyramid is number 3? Pentagonal. So if I have to find big B, then I have to use apothem perimeter divided by 2. So this is a pentagonal pyramid. Okay, next one is a cone. It looks like an ice cream cone. The height is still straight up and down. Even if it's slanted, your height is always up and down. There's 2 formulas for cone. I would always use this one because if you use the other one, you have to first find big B. And if you use this one, you don't have to find anything. You just plug in what you know. To me, that's a little bit simpler. Okay, and then the last one is called a sphere. It looks like a beach ball. This is the most simplest one ever. That's the formula.
Can you explain why we use the
Because you break. That's a great question. I have to look it up. I'm not going to try to explain it right now. What's 6? What's 7? Okay. What is always the units? What's always the units? Cubed, which is how many? 3. Okay, you have 2 sets of hole punches in this practice sheet because I hole punched the wrong one and then it just bothered the stew out of me because I wanted the examples to be on top and it wasn't. So then I hole punch both of them and it doesn't bother me as much. I don't know why.
Now we can move this to our hands.
Okay, cool. All right, glad y'all are satisfied. Okay, so we're going to start on the examples. I would leave your pink sheet to the side, and we're actually going to work our way from the bottom up because the bottom ones are more simpler. Okay, what shape do we have? Sphere. I'm always going to write the formulas just to get in the hang of it, even though you don't have to memorize it. 4/3 pi r cubed. Well, what do we have? We have the diameter. That's the only way they can trick you on this one. That's it. Don't let them do it. If the diameter is 2, what's the radius? Okay, so our formula is 4/3 pi 1 to the 3rd. I need everybody to practice putting this in your calculator so that you're not doing it wrong. I got 4.2. See, that's why we're practicing. You got what? Okay. Did you close your parentheses after the 3rd?
No.
Okay, moving on to cone. Sphere's simple. Moving on to cone. Formula is 1/3 pi r squared times the height. Well, what's your radius? 3.2 squared, and your height is 5.8. Practice plugging all of that in your calculator. $62.2. Okay, once you're finished, they can trick you on these. How do you think they can trick you? They can give you the diameter. They can give you this right here. What if they gave you this and this? Couldn't you find this? They can give you different portions of a right triangle and tell you you have to find other things. They won't tell you though, so you have to make sure that you have exactly the radius and exactly the height. Okay, let's go to pyramid. So the formula is, this is the first one where we have to find big B. All right, so what's the base of this pyramid? What shape? A rectangle, right? Okay, I go over to my own little space and find big B because it's a whole nother situation. So big B is going to be little b times h of just the base. So it doesn't matter which one's which, right? So it's just going to be 9.5 times what? 9.5 times 8. You have to think flat. We're finding the area. Think flat. So big B should be 76. And then when you go up here to plug it in, we'll have 1/3 times what? 76. Times, what's the height of the pyramid? The thing straight up and down all the way to where everything meets is 9. So you plug all of that in your calculator. Okay, cylinder and cone. Don't get their two formulas confused. Cone has a 1/3, cylinder does not. And I'm not making you memorize it, so don't make silly mistakes on easy stuff, okay? Don't write down the wrong formula. Pi r squared times the height. So this is a situation in which we have to agree upon what we think. To me, it looks like 9 is half because it has a line going to half of it. If you are confused in this case, what should you do? Ask. Because I don't know, it could go both ways. But we just have to agree and all stick to what we decide. So I'm going to say that the radius is 9. And the height is 5. Yeah? All right, number 2. This is our first prism. V equals big B times H. What is the shape of the base? No. I heard it. Triangle. Look at number 2. The only one I see twice is a triangle. I see it right here and in the back. The other 4 sides all have 4 sides, or the other sides all have 4 sides. So your base is this triangle right here. So first, to find the base, the area of the base, what's the area of a triangle? What's the formula? 1/2 little b times height. Okay, be careful. 1/2, I have the base, right? 9's the base. But I don't have the height. What I do know is that if this is 15, so is this. So that's 15, and that's 9, and this has to be a 90-degree angle. How can I find the height? Pythagorean theorem. 9 squared plus x squared equals 15 squared. So the height has to be, I got 12. So then big B is 9 times 12 times 0.5, which is 54. We're still not done. You got to go back to volume. That's just your big B. Okay, now, real quick, let's talk. What is the height of the prism? Which one of those numbers is the height of the prism? 10. Because you have to think, if I place that base on the bottom, which one of those numbers is going straight up and down? And it's 10. So your volume is 540 feet cubed. Okay, this is another prism for number 1. So volume is equal to big B times H. Which one of these is the base? The top or the side? The top and the bottom are your bases. How do I know? Well, the base or the side has 4 and 4 and 4 and 4 and 4. The only shape I see twice is this pentagon on the top and the bottom. So we have to find the area of a pentagon, which is 1/2 times your apothem times your perimeter. Okay, these dashes right here are important. They're telling you, hey, yo, geometry student, all of these sides are the same. That means it's a regular pentagon, and you can use what we learned in area. 1/2 times the apothem times the perimeter. Well, they made it real easy for us, didn't they? What'd they give us? What's this? That's the apothem. What's this? One side, and they're all the same. You can find the perimeter, which is 25. So, 1/2, what was the apothem? 3.4. They told us that one of the sides was 5, and they told us that all the sides are the same. So 5 times 5 is 25. So I'm finding that it's 42.5. However, we're still not done. You actually have to plug it in to find the volume. So you're going to have big B, which is 42.5. What's the height? 8. Okay, so that's our notes. Now, if you look at the back, there are 10 practice problems. I am not telling you that you have to do all of these tonight. However, what I'm telling you is, before I give you your in-class project tomorrow, all of these have to be done. So you can use your time tomorrow to do these 10 in class. But then you're also losing class time on your project. And your project does not go home. Like, does not go home at all. It has to stay in class. If you take it home, it's a 0. So, use your time wisely. I will give you Wednesday and then 0 period if you need extra time on your project. But tomorrow, the majority of it should be done. And it's doable. So, I'm not telling you have to finish all these tonight. But I am telling you, the longer tomorrow you have to work on this, the less amount of time you have on your project. Does that make sense? Okay, I was super nice, and I went through and wrote all the answers down so you can check your work. I'm going to post these on Google Classroom so you don't waste time writing them down. Okay? All right, so you have 5 minutes. Get as much done as you can.